Hello. Hi, friends. Tina here. I am so glad to be in here with you guys and to update you on our 60-day challenge. So I know everybody here has been following this book and you have been making some total transformations in your life. And it's been a while since I popped in. I know I had posted a couple of times. Hello, come on in. I had posted a couple of times about all the things going on. It's been kind of crazy. We have been remodeling our kitchen. I'll have to show you some before and after pictures at some point, but we started over 6 months ago and we've had so many things come our way that were like crazy. We've had broken granite, we've had bankrupt installers, we've had our little pandemic thing going on. I mean, it's just been crazy. And so last week, we finally got all of our cabinet doors, which have been painted and reinstalled. So there's a lot of drilling and a lot of power tools and a lot of noise, but we got those soft close hinges. I don't know if you have those in your home. Our home is 26 years old. We were two young married couples, two young married people starting out with very little money, did a lot of DIY 26 years ago, and we built our house. And so we bought the best oak cabinets our money could buy at the time and just had cheap hinges, cheap drawer pulls, all of that kind of stuff. But we've had all of that fixed, and I feel like a brand new kitchen. I can't wait to do some videos in there and share with you what's been going on and recipes and some different things for us to do. So also last week was our International Grand Convention at Young Living. So that it was done virtually, obviously. Everything's been canceled, right? So we did it virtually and it was so much fun. I don't know if you're with Young Living or if you were able to attend the convention, but it was so well done. I mean, it was like watching an award show on television, like the Grammys or something. I mean, it was just really, really well done. So much effort went into that. And we launched 35 new products. And so I have been so hands on with our essential oils team for the last week, and it has been really hard for me to come in here and talk to you guys, but I'm here and I have been reading your comments. I've been cheering you on. I've been praying for you, and I know that this is a journey for a lot of us. I hope that you are sticking with it. I hope that you're keeping a journal, something, just a simple notebook, anything, just something that you can be writing down and journaling what's happening in your life. Okay, so we're going to be talking about the second part of the book, and in particular chapter 4. So in the first part of this is called What You Need to Know Before You Start the Essential Oils Diet. Now I know a lot of us have already started the diet, but I like doing these videos so that we can talk about the actual content in the book and how it applies to our lives and kind of just rally each other on. Okay. I love this quote by Hippocrates at the very beginning of chapter 4. The greatest medicine of all is to teach people not to need it. By the way, I'm in school as well. I've been attending Trinity School of Natural Health, and I'm going for the Certified Natural Health Professional certification. I'll have that finished around November, right around Thanksgiving, and then I will immediately re-enroll and go for the CHHP program, which is Certified Holistic Health Practitioner. So I'm learning so much of this stuff in my textbooks. I've got one of them right here. We actually have the week off this week, and so I'm just juggling the home and the business instead of the home and the business in college. But this Body Structures and Functions book is so good. Anybody can get this book. I think it's on Amazon. This is the 13th edition, but I'm learning, of course, from Dr. Z and Mama Z in this book, and then learning about the body in this book, and just combining all of this knowledge. To me, it's just so exciting to be able to know these things, to be able to implement what we are learning, and to watch total transformation take place. So in chapter 4, Dr. Z talks about 6 additional reasons why you can succeed with the essential oils diet. And I'm just going to run through those really quick. So number one is it doesn't overcomplicate things. And seriously, like this is such a simple way to lose weight. All of us have lost weight, probably more than once. We lose it, then we find it. We lose it, then we find it. But we really want to learn how to lose it and keep it off. And this book is more about the total transformation. And so when you focus on all the things that lead to why we gain weight, then you're more likely to keep it off. Number two is there's no reason to count anything. I know that gets so old. I years and years ago I was counting calories, and apparently the average person average woman is supposed to have 2,000 calories. That was, back then, that was what I was learning. But it's so antiquated information. You shouldn't have to count your calories, and you shouldn't have to count your grams of carbs and all the things that people are counting now. I know there's a lot of plans out there. Maybe you're successful at some of them, but for the total transformation to take place, you shouldn't really have to be counting any of those. God has designed our body to produce this hormone called leptin, and that's one of the things that I've been learning at Trinity is the hormones created by the body starts in the pituitary system and works different areas of the body, but that leptin is what tells the brain, hey, I'm full and I don't need anything else to eat, so how about we quit putting that fork in your mouth, right? I'm guilty of this because food's good. Everybody loves food, especially delicious food. But there are a couple of clues that you should be looking for that if you're maybe your brain, because sometimes we can get leptin resistant where our brain doesn't necessarily recognize that hormone and we're not getting the signals. Or somehow the signals are getting crossed and we just continue to eat and then we are overeating. All right. So one of those is as you're eating, if your meal starts to lose its flavor and it just doesn't taste as good as that first bite does, you're probably getting full. You need to just stop. Go ahead and push the plate away. I know my mom and dad raised me so well, and they, clean your plate, Tina. You can't get up and do whatever you want to do until you clean your plate. And I raised my kids that way, and that's such a wrong way to be teaching our kids that they have to clean what's on their plate. We shouldn't be teaching that. We should be learning and teaching our kids and ourselves have to relearn some of this stuff. We should relearn that what it feels like to be full and not have like this mentality that you're wasting food. Go for a smaller plate. That's a good start. Start with a smaller plate like your salad plate and put a smaller serving on your plate. And then that way you can clean your plate, but you're not overeating. So that's a good tip. Clue number two is your energy level will start to drop. How many times have you started eating something and you're just like, oh, I'm just so worn out. Man, that was good. You're probably overeating. So push it back. If you need a cup of espresso or coffee or a sugary dessert after you've eaten, you probably overate because that's your body trying to rebound with that energy like sugar or caffeine to help you bounce back from just overeating. You want to eat food as a fuel and then stop when your tummy feels full. Clue number three is that your stomach will start to expand. Literally, we watched the movie The Help the other night, and one of the main actresses in there said it was a scene in the movie where they're at this fancy dinner and he's telling her, she's in this really figure flattering dress, and he says, babe, you need to eat something. She was drinking a little bit too much. And he says, you need to eat something. And she goes, oh no, I don't want my belly to pooch. Well, some of us pooch, and that tells us you've eaten too much. You need to just not eat. But I thought about this part of the book when I was watching that movie. And then let's see, that was a couple of clues on no need to count anything. Just learn when your body is full. All right. So learn the difference between feeling pleasantly satisfied and feeling overstuffed. That's that feeling we get after a big family meal. I know 4th of July is coming up and we'll probably get together with our friends, but just learn when you are satisfied. And it's something that we have to really be mindful of. Drink a lot of water too with your meal because that can help you to feel full quick, and then you won't be overeating as well. Okay, number 3, there's no good or bad foods. Really? Because didn't we see like a list of things that we shouldn't have in the fast track? Absolutely. So let's talk about that. So there's lots of diet plans out there, and some of them have you remove an entire food group like carbs, no carbs, or you're just eating protein, or just eating vegetables. Um, in this book, there's not really a lengthy list of good foods and bad foods. Really, what they're asking you is to stay away from the toxic foods, sugar being one of them, refined sugar. We'll talk about that a lot throughout the book and throughout the challenge, right? Um, and then foods that lack nutritive value, things that are um, industrially raised or factory farmed or genetically modified. Those sometimes are just not acceptable foods at all. There's not a lot of nutrition in them. All right. So eat clean and real food. And number 4, we respect biochemical individuality. So what does that mean? It's basically your physiology. Yours is different than mine. We all have something different. Dr. Z talks about his physiology is like he thrives on 95% vegan food, like no meat, just mostly vegetables. Where Mama Z, his wife, is more of the meat eater, but he and the kids, they can have raw dairy and they can have gluten and not be bothered. But Mama Z is completely intolerant of gluten and dairy. And so you may be that way in your family. Thankfully, around our house, we are all kind of on the same path as far as what we're sensitive to and what we're not sensitive to. But just recognize that your physiology is unique to you, and you need to know what your triggers are and what things maybe you don't feel good after you eat, or because you've talked to a healthcare provider and you've had some testing done, and you shouldn't eat certain foods or certain types of ingredients. This is where your food journaling is going to come in handy as well. Keep a list of things that you just absolutely, nope, that was not that good for me. And then that way, as you move forward and develop your own recipes or see recipes, you'll know how to tweak things to help your physiology and your body be able to receive that food and use it as fuel. And number 5, eat what you love. It's as simple as that, but, of course, I love cookies, but those have sugar and gluten, and I shouldn't have those. But let's talk about that. God has given you like taste buds and desires that you enjoy eating, right? If you enjoy, say, a vegetable one day and the next day you enjoy a turkey sandwich, and your body's okay with that, then that's fine. But what he's saying is that diet plans that tell you like this whole plan of this is how your Monday should be and this is how your Tuesday should be and Wednesday, and it's very strict, and it doesn't give you any kind of freedom, then that's probably not a great plan for you for longevity and for total transformation. Maybe you love broccoli and cauliflower. Why should you choose one or the other? Maybe you love strawberries and nectarines. You should be able to eat all of those things in moderation, and of course, hopefully not genetically modified, and hopefully not sprayed with pesticides and herbicides and all of that yucky stuff, right? So just eat the healthy foods that you prefer. It's far more likely that you're going to be satisfied in that than you would be in trying to create like a restrictive program. And number 6, this is not just for weight loss, all right? This is actually if you have a chronic illness, or you have an overactive thyroid, or maybe an injury or another issue that makes it difficult for you to gain weight, then this book is also very good for you. In this case, you might want to start with chapter 7. Now, it's really good that you go through chapter 5 and that you learn about the food and the fasting and the colon cleansing. All of that is very important for everyone, whether you need to lose weight or gain weight. But if you are one of those types of individuals that needs to gain weight, again, that's part of your physiology. then skip ahead to chapter 7 and start into that second phase of the 60-day challenge. Okay, so he goes into talking about food versus non-food or so-called food, things that are just, they tell us it's food, but it's not really. It's just kind of food. We call it frankenfood at my house. So really kind of look through that and know that when you're shopping and when you're eating out that you're not eating some of those really processed foods. Okay, so he goes into the food essentials in this, and he goes into a couple of conversations that you might find very intriguing, especially if you have ever followed like the Atkins diet or a keto diet. Really read up on that because Dr. Z has some very strong opinions on those types of diets that are high protein, low carbs. Long term, he's got some studies and he's a researcher and he's got some information in there that you might find very, very informative on those types of food plans. So let's talk about the essential 8 because in this chapter, he really goes through the essential 8 food things that you need to be including into your diet. These are things that are all bioactive compounds, rich energy-filled food that's going to fuel your body. He's going to address some of his favorites through this too, and I'll kind of call out some as well. But number 1 is seeds. Seeds, meaning think about chia seeds, flax seeds, hemp seed. Hemp seed is a big one. Gosh, everybody seems to be talking about hemp and hemp seeds and hemp products now. Hemp seeds are great. Really good at battling the inflammation in our body, which is really the root cause of most diseases. And we need to work on getting that under control. And also hemp seeds can be very good at helping with losing weight. And then cacao seeds, that is CACAO, cacao seeds. That's where we get our cocoa powder from. But cacao seeds, they are really great, especially if you deal with hyperglycemia or blood sugar, glucose issues. Really helps to balance your blood sugar. And that's why cacao powder is often found in some of your smoothie recipes that are meant to help bridge you between a meal or so. It helps you to really do some fasting if you're just going on maybe a liquid diet for a little bit. And he does talk about that as well in here. So seeds are amazing. Number 2, healthy fats and oils. Now, extra virgin olive oil is pretty much what we use on almost everything. I do keep coconut oil and fractionated coconut oil. I keep some avocado oil around, but he talks about a study in here where in one study, a woman women with breast cancer, an olive oil enriched diet produced more weight loss than a lower fat diet. So back in the day, the low fat craze was probably one of the worst things for our human body and our health. You still see products on the shelf today that say low fat, and we've got to get out of that low fat mindset because our body needs fat, our brains need fat, every part of our body and its mechanisms need fat. In our classes at Trinity, we've gone into great detail about why we need fat. But your fats from extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, you need these in your life. We actually have a product at Young Living called Olive Essentials, which is a supplement, and it's fantastic because it has all kinds of nutrients in it. And they say like one daily dose of the Olive Essentials is like consuming the health benefits of I think it's a liter of olive oil. It's a lot. Like you would not have that much olive oil in your diet in one day. But we really enjoy olive oil for the cardiovascular health that it does for our body, which helps reduce our risk of stroke. So why would you not want more olive oil in your life? We've been buying it in the gallons. Of course, you want to get an organic source of it. Don't just get something. There's a lot of adulteration in the world of good oils like olive oil. Sometimes, I think there was like some kind of study done where they exposed some companies that were selling things that were supposed to be olive oil, but they ended up being like some kind of canola oil, and didn't even have any olives in it, right? So kind of crazy. You got to know your brands, right? Gotta know your brands with everything. So avocado oil. This is the olive oil of the Americas and has a high smoke point. I love to cook on the Blackstone griddle. And if you follow me on my stories, sometimes you might see me kind of walking you through how we cook on the Blackstone. But you need a high smoke point oil for that. So your avocado oil would be great. And then number three, actually, before I go on to number three, I want to point out that butter is a healthy oil. It's a healthy fat. You need butter in your life, especially from grass-fed organic resources. If you can get it locally from maybe some Amish or somebody in your town that makes their own butter, phenomenal. You need more butter in your life. And don't get that confused with margarine because that's not real food. Okay, that's closer to plastic than it is real food. Okay, number three, fruit. Now, as long as you do not experience any negative health effects or any kind of dietary issues with fruit, you can pretty much eat all the fruit you want. You want to avoid some of the high sugar fruits during your first 30-day fast track. Those would be things like apples, pears, and pineapple. Just have them sparingly. Pineapple is really good. It has a digestive enzyme in pineapple that's really good to have, like just as a sweet treat after a meal. But again, eat it kind of sparingly during that first 30 days. And now berries are amazing. I used to, I grew up picking blackberries and my grandmother making blackberry cobbler. And so we've eaten blackberries my whole life. But they're the wee little ones that you find on the sticker bushes in the woods. Saw just lots of them today. But these bigger blackberries that you buy at the market are so amazing. They're loaded in antioxidants, and the fiber in the seeds helps digestion. It helps to keep you full. In fact, if you have a mid-afternoon snack of mixed berries, a serving of just 1 cup, it will actually reduce the amount of food that you consume at dinner just a few hours later. And so that enjoy your berries. Cut up some strawberries. I know there are many areas in the country right now where strawberries are just coming in and they're beautiful seasonal fruit that's coming in right now, and you can just load up on those. Okay, so I like strawberries, blueberries, and blackberries, and even raspberries together in a bowl. And then I will take the cream of coconut, and it's an organic cream of coconut. I get it at Sprouts, but you can get it at Trader Joe's or other places. And then whip it with vanilla flavored stevia, and it makes whipped cream, non-dairy whipped cream, and put that on top of your berries. It's so good, y'all. And you can enjoy it without feeling like you're cheating, right? It's that sweet little thing that you might want. Okay, so going back to avocados, avocado is actually a fruit. Did you know that? It is, and it is a healthy fruit. Eating half of a Hass avocado, and those are the small dark ones with the rough skin on them. If you eat half of a Hass avocado at lunchtime, that's shown to produce 40% decreased desire to eat for several hours after. So it's keeping your body feeling full. So why not eat an avocado? Now, you do have to figure out about avocados because they're only really good for about 5 minutes, right? It's like, I mean, am I the only one that does this? I'll buy 7 or 8 avocados and I'm like, okay, this one will be good today. And this one, I can squeeze them until, it needs to ripen a little bit. This one will be good tomorrow. And this will be, so I'm kind of like keeping myself from having to go to the grocery store all the time and get fresh avocados. And then life happens. And then you turn around and you're like, I missed the open window of opportunity to consume this avocado during its peak. And so then I find myself either just tossing them or making guacamole out of it, which is good too. Okay, so an honorable mention in fruit. Grapefruit is a well-researched, has a reputation for weight loss. Now, if you have been with us in the 60-day challenge, grapefruit essential oil is a key ingredient in the fat-burning roll-on, in the essential water concentrate. And so we love to get a lot of grapefruit into our diet. So Dr. Z says he recommends whole fruit rather than grapefruit juice because the fiber in the whole fruit is really going to help your digestion. It's going to help your blood sugar to keep from spiking. And he also says that fruit juice is sugar by any other name. So be careful how much fruit juice you're consuming. Okay, number 4, cruciferous vegetables. Okay, this is like your broccoli, your cauliflower, your cabbage, your bok choy. All those are delicious and so good for you. Very high potent anti-inflammatories. They fight cancer. Oh my goodness, why would you not want to have some of that in your life all day, every day? There's a wonderful recipe in the book that Mama Z has for her coleslaw. So try that out because it would be a great way for you to get more coleslaw into your diet, especially right now at 4th of July. We've got the barbecues coming up. You're going to need some coleslaw to go with that. So you're going to get some other compounds, bioactive compounds in here, like carotenoids, beta carotene. That you find in carrots, but you also find it in your cruciferous vegetables. Lutein, vitamin C, E, K, folate, and minerals. The National Institute of Health, which sponsors the National Cancer Institute, is studying cruciferous vegetables extensively because the compounds are known to protect cells from DNA damage and to inactivate carcinogens, produce antiviral, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory effects, induce cell death like apoptosis. So some cells we want them to die off, and that's a good thing. So also it can inhibit tumor growth in blood vessel formations, tumor cell migration, which is needed for it to metastasize. So that's when the cancer cells get into the blood and it comes up somewhere else in the body. So eat more broccoli, y'all. I mean, come on, you've got to eat your broccoli. You've got to have your bok choy. Bok choy is a staple in the Asian cuisines, and I know when I went to a supermarket here recently and bought some bok choy, the lady that checked me out said, "What is this?" And I gave her a little class on cruciferous vegetables right there in the checkout line. Okay, number 5, nuts. All right, I love all kinds of nuts. So we were having nuts on our trail ride this morning. We went out in the woods and enjoyed some time just together as a family, riding 4-wheelers, hiking up in the woods and getting some exercise. But I took a jar of almonds and I had some other nut butters and different things. So nuts, they pack power in protein, in unsaturated fats, in fiber. So grab some of your almonds, different types of nuts, keep them on hand and keep them available so that when you do feel those little hunger pains, maybe a little craving coming on, just eat 5 or 6 almonds and you're going to feel great. It helps to improve fat metabolism. Oh my goodness. We all need some of that, right? As we're going through this. You can substitute one high carb snack, such as a muffin with a handful of almonds, and it may be enough to head off cardiometabolic diseases, even without weight loss. So when I'm talking about cardiometabolic diseases, we're talking about high blood pressure, things that other metabolic conditions like type 2 diabetes. I mean, that's completely reversible with a proper diet, and this total transformation can help. So if you're dealing with that. Also, walnuts. Walnuts offer many of the same benefits as almonds. Walnuts are a great snack. Let's see, omega-3s, omega-6 fatty acids. You've heard of essential fatty acids. We need those in our diet now more than ever. I have been doing several health scans, wellness scans on people, and just about everybody shows that they have they are needing more essential fatty acids in their diet. Okay, number 6, legumes. Legumes, I love beans. So black beans, we had some last night. We had a taco night last night and I had some black beans with them. So in Dr. Z talks about blue zones in the world, and those are the healthiest areas of the world, and these blue zones, they consume a lot of legumes. So beans, peas, lentils, and even clovers, peanuts, cashews, those are legumes. You can have those. Of course, you want to stay away from things like soybeans, soy products, because even though soy is a legume, it's usually genetically modified. Okay, so be very careful with your soy products. Lentils. Lentils are delicious. Have y'all tried the lentil kale supper soup in the book, the recipe? My husband, who prefers that I don't cook and prepare soups, he would rather have like a meat and several vegetables instead of a soup. But he actually asked for that soup. It's really good. So if you haven't tried that, you need to. Lentils, um, they can be green, black, red, yellow, and they contain prebiotic carbohydrates. And that helps with your gut bacteria. It helps to give that the food so it can continue to flourish and thrive. Um, Prebiotic carbohydrates and dietary fiber have potential to reduce the risk of becoming obese and developing cancer, reduce the risk of developing cancer, heart disease, and diabetes. So learn to add those lentils into your diet. All right, number 7, wild caught fish. We prefer the cold water fish like salmon. Make sure it's wild caught. Make sure you're reading the ingredients and that you're not getting your salmon from someplace that's injecting dye in it to make it look like the salmon color, because that's really popular. You can go to this website, seafoodwatch.org, and you can, they'll provide you a list of an endangered fish species. So you want to also always be consuming fish that's ethically caught and provided to you, that we're not depleting the fish that we have in the world, right? So always kind of keep a check on that, because I know that if you're going to certain areas of the world, you might see where people aren't following the rules, right? So we don't want to contribute to that. Salmon should be caught wild and harvested in cold waters, meaning Alaska, the Pacific Northwest. I've had the pleasure of traveling to those areas, and the fish is amazing. It's also caught in Northern Europe, and so look for that. You're going to find lots of omega-3 fatty acids in that type of salmon. That's also going to help us with our inflammation. So get as much of that into your body as you can. During the first 30-day fast track, we eat more. We don't eat meat, but we eat a small amount of wild caught fish if you choose to. You don't have to, but that's where that would come in, is having the salmon. And then number 8, this kind of caught me by surprise, because when we're looking at essential 8 things to make sure you put into your diet, I never really considered this a food. But after reading what Dr. Z talks about in this book, and this is on page 88 and 89, is tea. I mean, I've been raised in the South, right? So we know how to make tea, and most of the time it's very, very sweet. I can't drink that stuff anymore. I was raised drinking tea, and I remember like when I was a little girl seeing babies in our family with tea, sweet tea in their baby bottle. That's how bad sweet tea is in the South. Used to, you couldn't even go anywhere in the South and order unsweet tea, but that's changing, thank goodness. And so that's not necessarily what we're talking about, though. We're talking about good quality herbal teas that help benefit the body. But one of the main teas, and you've seen me talk about it, you see it on my stories, you see me talk about it in here, and that's matcha green tea. Matcha green tea is one of the best sources of bioactive compounds and antioxidants. Now, you want to find something that is organic, non-GMO. You don't want to just buy your matcha green tea without those labels, okay? Because some of them have been sprayed with yucky chemicals. But the National Cancer Institute actually even acknowledges that green tea could cure cancer. It's part by protecting the damage to the DNA, and it's an effective fat burning tea. Love that. In the mornings when I make my matcha green latte, I can fast until 11, 12. Sometimes it's 1 o'clock and I look and I go, I probably should eat lunch. I get busy here in the office or doing things around the house, or just don't even realize what time it is, but it's because my belly's not telling me, hey, I need to eat. That matcha green latte really tides me over. All right, so other teas that are worth mentioning are Rubios, holy basil tea. These are rich in the bioactive polyphenic compounds, polyphenolic compounds. Sorry, I said that wrong. Helps to achieve your body's natural weight. So drink more tea, steep your tea, enjoy your tea, right? At Young Living, we launched 3 new teas this spring, and they are so delicious, and you can pair them with a Vitality essential oil for added flavor and added health benefits. So if you want to know more about that, just ask me. All right, so those are some things. I love on page 90 and 91, Mama Z talks about how to make the most of your grocery budget. She also has this in a video form on their website. If you go to the essentialoilsdiet.com and you put in your email and register that you've bought the book and you're following this, you can get access to all kinds of other added education outside of the book. But she goes into all kinds of benefits of being able to stretch your budget because let's face it, a lot of people say, I can't do an organic diet. I can't eat healthy because I need to eat what's on the dollar menu. I need to eat what's cheap. I buy my groceries at the dollar store or whatever. But she will really help you with that. You can eat very economically on this essential oils diet. I promise you. So be sure and go through all that. If you have any question, let me know. Let me know how you're planning your budget and how you're stretching your budget. I've got a young mom on my essential oils team. She is raising 2 children as a single mom. Her husband left when she was pregnant with her second baby, and her oldest was only, I think he was 18 months old, and then she was having another baby, and her husband left for another woman. It was a terrible thing. And so she's on government assistance, and she has been making an effort to show people how she is shopping for healthy foods for her and her son and her daughter and making baby food and really stretching that budget. And I think I'm going to ask her to be a guest on in this group because I think you would really enjoy getting to know her and hearing her story, but also really get some motivation to not use an excuse of, well, that stuff's expensive, so I guess I can't be healthy. It's not. It's a myth. I promise you it's a myth. All right, so chapter 5 is coming up, and this is where we get into the 30-day essential fast track. This is where we're forming new habits and we're kickstarting our weight loss. Now, many of you are already doing that, and I have been cheering you on. I see where you're losing weight, you're losing inches, and you're actually almost to the end of your 30-day fast track. So way to go. Some of you are just getting started, and I know you can do it. This is going to be a transformational, life-changing thing for you if you just stick with it. All right, your first couple of days may be a little hard. Just power through. Use your essential oils for your emotional support. Drink your essential oil water, your water concentrate, the recipes here in the group, and really stay in it. Get your movement in, walking, hiking, whatever it is that you're doing for your movement, biking, and stay in it. I promise you, you're going to feel better and better and better, and you're going to lose more and more weight. So that's it for today. I would love to hear from you guys. Let me know where you are in your journey. Let me know how you're doing, how I can pray for you, how I can answer questions that you may have. I'd love to hear from you. And you guys have a wonderful day, and we will talk to you in a couple of days on the video. Okay? Take care. Bye-bye.